So it's the beginning of 2011, and business has fundamentally changed, especially for those of you in the mortgage industry. And what I want to talk to you about is what I see moving forward and what I believe is the right fundamental strategy for you in the mortgage industry. It was confirmed this morning when I posted on Facebook this morning the question, what percentage of your business is refinance right now? And after about 28 responses, I think I totaled them up and averaged them, and the average was 14%. Last week I did 2 conference calls back to back and polled the audience and got essentially the same response, roughly 10%. Many people saying zero. Nothing in the pipeline in terms of refis. So I want to tell you the story of what I call the three-legged stool. And so the idea is that we all have generally the first 2 legs pretty well nailed. So let's call this first one referral partners. Okay, referral partners. For most of you in the mortgage industry, the vast majority of those will be realtors. So we've got to tighten that up. You know, you've got to solidify those relationships. Make sure that the people that you want to be doing business with, you've got their mind share so that when they think of mortgage, you're the person that they think of. And there's a lot of strategies and tactics that we can talk about to accomplish that. But to really nail that one down right now is enormous, obviously, and it's very crowded space. Everyone is going out calling on realtors right now, so we've got to just know that. Number 2, the second one is database. And the idea here is that you've all got people in your database. I know this from having spent 8 years in the coach's chair. But what I also know is that most of you don't do a great job with it. Historically, we have not been great at databasing. And so, you know, if you've got 200 people in your database and 30% of those you've got email addresses and cell phones on, we've got a problem. We've got to build that up. If you're like the client that I had a session with today that had 2,000 people in her database and the vast majority of them, she has email addresses, she's in great shape. You know, the law of averages, time and consistency with that many people, that's going to help her a lot. But if that's an area that we need to focus on, I'm just going to suggest to you that this is the time, right now, while it's relatively slow, make sure that you've got a CRM, a customer relationship management database, something that you can use, a list, an Excel spreadsheet. Not the answer. Got to build the database, develop a campaign, touch these people over time. Right now is a great time to just connect and get that information. The third one is, let's just call it ILG for independent lead generation. Independent lead generation. Now that could be anything from very old school like home buyer seminars, first-time home buyer seminars, anything along those lines, calling on HR directors at companies. But it could also be some pretty cutting-edge stuff like Mortgage Marketing Animals talks about with eProperties or Zillow, or, you know, a number of different web-based lead generation strategies. Then we need to work to incubation, and then we move those toward application and fundings. But the three-legged stool, referral partners, database, independent lead generation, that's going to be your answer for 2011. We'll talk to you soon.